What's up, everyone? Welcome to another video. So today I wanted to talk about the races, and I wanted to break down why the races are the way that they are, okay? And why certain groups, certain races have been the way that they've been throughout history. All right, so when you just take a step back and simply look at the situation for what it is, certain races are from the north, the lighter skinned races, and then below the equator, you got the darker skinned races, okay? And above the equator, where it's cold, where there's more mountains, where there's more snow, you're going to obviously get less sun, and therefore, because of that, you're going to get less health, okay? And you're going to get more architecture naturally because of the fact that it's cold and there's harsh weather. You're going to have to be more in the left brain. So because of adaptations and survival and stuff, naturally people from those climates are going to have to be more left-brained. They're going to have to get more technical, figure out how to, produce heat when it's really cold, figure out how to build houses, architecture, stuff like that. So, you know, unfortunately though, like I said, you're going to be out of the sun more because it's colder, and therefore you're not going to be as healthy. There's more indoors up north. Okay, there's not as much plentiful fruit that can be grown in the northern climates all year round. Whereas the southern climates, it's more fertile, it's more calm, it's warm, it's different than the northern climate. It's healthier. Okay, so therefore the darker skinned races that are more adapted to these climates, because it's not cold and freezing, they don't have to worry about building stuff and technical stuff to keep them warm. So therefore they're naturally going to be more in the right brain, and they're going to be more free-minded. Okay, and so really, the northern part of the earth above the equator, with the harsh weather, uh, snow, mountains, technical mines, the northern part of the earth is more masculine in nature. Okay, and then the southern part of the earth below the equator is more feminine in nature. Okay, because like I said, it's warmer, it's it's more, it's more fertile. There's more fruits that can be grown, more sun. You're in the tropics, which really, this is where humans are designed to be. We're supposed to be in the tropics most of the time. Okay, every once in a while you can go and visit the colder climates, the mountains, but they're basically supposed to be for temporary periods of time. Maybe for like a season, like the summer where it's really warm, you might want to escape to the mountains, get a little bit cooler, and just see some different sights. Or maybe every once in a while in the winter for a couple days or something, you can escape to the mountains. But most of the time, we're supposed to be in the tropics, where it's warm all year round. You can grow food all year round, okay, and you're just more comfortable. That's where humans are designed to be. All right. And what's interesting about the masculine feminine dynamics is like whenever you think of like the word cold, like it's interesting how that word is also used, not just for like the weather, but also somebody's behavior. If somebody has like lack of empathy, they have cold behavior. That person is cold. Okay, and then for like the feminine aspect, it's interesting how when you say that somebody is good looking, they look hot, and usually that's said about a woman. Okay, usually when you're referring to somebody being hot, it's usually guys that say that about girls. Sometimes girls say that about guys, but it's usually more commonly said about women. And so that's representing the feminine, hot, where it's hotter below the equator. So it's just interesting dynamics, the cold behavior and that girl's hot. Just kind of these interesting things like this that are in society that you can break down. But so really, this has everything to do with why certain races have been more responsible for, more slavery and stuff like that, and more oppression and all that. It has to do with health and just not being in the sun as much, colder weather. A lot of Europeans were more prone to exploration and being on long voyages out to sea without any fruit, without any healthy food, okay, without any movement except the ship for really long periods of time. And so by the time they hit these, the Americas and all these other places, they obviously, were very sick and imbalanced in the mind because of, lack of health and everything else. So they were more susceptible to psychotic behavior, which is why they enslaved, all the other different ethnicities and groups and stuff. Okay, and then of course, obviously, like I said, just anyone from the North, Europeans, Chinese, Japanese, lighter skinned Asian races too. Okay, this applies to them as well. All right, if you're not in the sun as much, where there's less sun, you're going to get more depression and you're going to get more lack of health. Okay, and when you're on voyages for too long, especially years on end, without eating properly, that can do something to your psyche. All right, so it just has everything to do with where you grew up and your ancestors, where they grew up and what they adapted to, and therefore what's in your DNA. You're going to be more left brain naturally if you're in colder climates because of survival, and you're going to be more right brain naturally if you're in warmer climates because you don't have to worry about survival all the time. All right, so that's basically that's how I want to break down the races. It ultimately has to do with health and it has to do with diet. And then let's also not forget that the north, where it's cold and where there's more harsh weather, naturally you're going to get more cooked food, okay? And you're naturally going to get more hunting and meat consumption, okay? Because of the fact that you know, you're in survival mode. You can't really grow much if it's in the cold. You can't really, you have to hunt if you're in that situation. If you're in the cold, you have to cook to stay warm. So more cooked food, more meat consumption. Okay, that leads to lack of health, unfortunately. So anyways, that's how I break it all down with the races. And there are other things to talk about with the races as well. And I'm going to break down even more stuff, so stay tuned for that. Take it easy.